Hi, this is Lou from Lou's Antiques and Collectibles, and we buy and sell stuff for our two antique booths in the two malls that we're in. Plaza Antiques in Lincoln Park, Michigan, and Maumee Antiques in Maumee, Ohio. And we have just been in Ludington, Michigan, and we're heading on down to Shipshewana in Indiana. So come on along with us. We've seen a lot of the folks farming on the way in. We kind of took an odd way in because that's what the GPS told us. So we're coming up into the downtown area of Shipshewana. It's very small. There's a lot of little stores with decorative items and gift items and stuff like that. It's pretty fun, actually. A lot of outdoor furniture. We find stuff for our house here a lot. And then here's the Blue Gate restaurant to our left here. They have dinner shows there. Actually, my sister went to a concert there one time. So it's always really busy in this little town. Like I said, not real big, but a lot of little shops. They're mainly to the left of us, this direction. And you can shop in there too. The thing about this town is there's not very many things open past 5 or 6 o'clock. So if you come, you want to come early. And then on Sunday, everything is closed. Most everything, I would say. So, okay, that's the town. So over here is a little department store called Yoder's. If you come to town, you gotta go there too. That's pretty neat. They got really neat, unusual things. And over here is the auction and the flea market, and we're gonna be camping right up here on the left-hand side. There's a little thrift store right here that we always go to. We try to go before the flea market opens, so because it's pretty busy today. So we'll see what we can find in there, if anything. So we're going into the store, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what they have to offer. They have a lot of housewares type of items, plates and cups and serving pieces. And if you see something neat, there was a lot of neat stuff, but I didn't buy it all. It depended on the price if I was able to triple. They had a whole area of plastic things and Tupperware and whatnot. So I looked through all of that. I don't typically buy that kind of stuff unless it's got like a cartoon character or a Disney character on it. So here's more of the small items, and I do the best with these types of items. So I looked at several things, and they were nice, but nothing that really was spectacular. I probably should have bought that little colonial couple there for $3. That was probably a pretty good deal, but I thought, I don't know if that's worth $9 or $10. It's probably worth about $5 or $6, so I couldn't triple that price. Lots of collectible plates that they had there. You typically do well with collectible plates, so I usually stay away from those. There was a tree there. I like to buy the trees with the gemstones on the end, the natural gemstones. Those go really good, and they're quite valuable. But that one was just a light up one with some plastic flowers, so it was nice, but not really what I'm looking for. And here was some more candlelight items and some more smalls. That was a cute little Winnie the Pooh. But it wasn't in the best of shape. It had a little chip on the B there. So I passed on that. And then I always go in the purses because you never know. This silver purse was really nice. And it was $4, which triple would be $12. I don't think that's worth $12. I think it's probably worth maybe $7 or $8. So I passed on that. And then here was another silver one. It was the same type of scenario. It just wasn't quite low enough for me to make a profit on. They were nice, though. If you were buying stuff for yourself, for sure, those were really good prices. They have a big section of toys, a lot of baby toys and other toys. And like I said, a lot of them were super nice if you were buying it for yourself. And there was some toys that I did buy for ourselves. But to buy, to sell, maybe not so good, but still a really nice, clean thrift store with a big variety in it, and definitely worth the stop. And these were bag toy items. I always look in there because that's where you find those little characters and the little people and things like that. But nothing today. There was a couple of small. They had some little people there, but the price wasn't right. So the little ducks were cute, but that's something I couldn't make a profit on. And then they had all these baby toys. They had tons of baby toys. I ended up getting this little game for one of our family members because it was really cute. I put it back, but then I come back to it. And I also got this little, I don't know if it's a Barbie or Skipper It's a farm one. It has the little animals with it for $2. That was really cute. I'm sure I could have made at least $6, $7 on that, but I bought that for private use. I always look in the plushes. If they're reasonable, they got to be really reasonable because I don't put much on them. I probably put between $4 and $6 on those. And there was a little finger fidget owl that was cute, but not real valuable. And I looked through all the other dolls there to see if there was anything else that was worth me talking about. That one was kind of cute, but it was $6. I think that was a G.I. Joe or something. And that might have been a mistake not to buy that one, but I didn't. So sometimes I make mistakes. What's cool about the store is they have a lot of the Amish clothing in here that you could actually buy if you wanted to use it for decorative things in your house or even to wear it. So it's fun to see, regardless, all their homemade clothes that they make, which were very nice. So here's some of the things that I got at the little thrift store in Shipshewana. I got a pin here for $1.50. It's pretty nice rhinestones on it. It's newer. I got this pin, but it's also a necklace for $1.50. These two I probably can get maybe $5 to $7 a piece. I got this bracelet, which is rather new. I probably can get about 3 or 4 on that one. This ring I thought was pretty. I think I paid $2.50 for this ring here. I know I can get 10 out of that. It's really nice. You can put it on my finger so you can see it better. It looks like it's cloisonné. I'm not sure. Anyways, that was really cool. I got this Farm Barbie. A Skipper. I'm not sure which one she is. That's for someone in our family. And I also got this Lucky Duck game for $2. And that's for someone in our family too. And hopefully that works. So not a whole lot, but I did get a few things there. So that was fun. So we'll see what we get tomorrow at the flea market. So we're looking out the back window in our camper and look how close we are to the flea market. I mean, this is pretty awesome. We are literally right there. And it starts tomorrow morning, so there'll be lots of people here. That's what you call location. So we're going into the flea market, and I'm trying to show you a big variety of the booths that they have there so you kind of know what you're in for. There's a lot of new items. There is some old items, but it seems to be getting more and more of the older items or the outdoor type items. So that's kind of cool, but I like some of the new stuff too for myself, so I have to check out everything. The flea market is open typically on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. There are a few holidays that they're open on, so make sure you check with their website if you're coming out, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, they even have Ziploc bags. You never know what you're going to find here. There's some baby items and glasses, and it's a big mix mash of stuff, so you kind of got to look everywhere to really get an idea what you got to work with. Because like I said, I buy a lot of stuff for ourselves. I don't necessarily show that to you because I know that you're more interested in the vintage and the antique items that we buy for our store. These little windmills are so cool. I actually got a couple of these. I actually bought them at garage sales, if you can believe that. They're pretty pricey, but very neat. Lots of cool clothes. I tend to buy a shirt or two while I'm around. There's some pretty nice ones. Funny sayings on some of them. This lady always has nice toys, and she is a great one to go search around so I can see what the prices should be on these items. She's always pretty reasonable. I can kind of gauge whether my pricing ideas are about right or maybe I need to change my thinking. So even if I don't buy anything here, it's kind of an educational thing for me to check out what other toy dealers are doing that are pretty much all toys. Because like I said, in the past, I've ventured kind of into toys. I know a little bit more every day, but I still have lots of learning to do. So the best way to learn is to look at other people's stuff and see what they're doing and if they're successful at that. But she had it very organized. Each basket had a different type of toy in. If you were looking for a part or a piece to a collection you had, this lady was the one to go to because it was so organized and easy to find whatever item that you needed. So lots of cool stuff. There's a Star Wars section. There's various action figures, and here's some the different princess dolls that she had. And actually, I kind of do what she does with my dolls. I wrap them up like that. That way they don't get dirty. And I don't really want to provide a playground in my booth. I'd like things wrapped and packaged nicely so whoever's buying it gets all the accessories that go with those dolls. So I think that's a good idea to wrap them up like that. That's what I do also. Yeah, look at all the shopping carts and all the little push toys they had. That was cute. And here's another booth with lots of yard decor. And you find a lot of yard things here. It's really kind of nice. That's where I buy a lot of my stuff, because they have a lot of unusual stuff. That particular dealer there, I actually went back to before I left, and they had some items that it was really reasonable, and I bought some stuff for my house in there. So that was kind of cool. And actually some of it was the Coke memorabilia that I ended up going back for to decorate our basement with. They're very reasonable. Here's some nice big gas signs. They're reproductions, but they're really nice to have in your home. The real ones are quite pricey these days. Of course, you'd love to find one of them with a good deal on it, but that's pretty rare. And like I said, I bought some of this stuff to take home because I thought it was so cool. And one thing nice is that we're there for a couple days. The flea market runs Tuesday and Wednesday, so a lot of times you go back to the camper on Tuesday and you think, dang, I should have bought that. So it's nice because Wednesday they're open and you can just go in and buy that. They have the most beautiful macrame stuff, I'll tell you. You could not even buy the doggone cloth string for what they were charging for it. They were beautiful and they were really reasonable. I kept thinking about that round one. Where could I put that? But I ended up passing on it because I couldn't figure out a spot to put it, but I really liked it. And here's some more yard things. And this, I believe, is the same dealer with all the Coke memorabilia, but they had a little booth across the way with with more yard stuff. So very nice. And the benches were really nice. So here's a row here. This was really early in the morning. And I did a little overall shot. Here was a clothing dealer right here. And lots of bags and purses and everything you could ever imagine. Now this is one of the dealers that have some of the older stuff. And there's quite a few of these folks now in the flea market, which is really nice. A lot of good stuff if you're decorating around a shed or a barn or even your front porch. Crates and watering cans, and there's some tomato baskets, or egg baskets I should say, and old signs that you could put on the outside of a barn or wherever you want to put that. And then they had an inside section, and they had some jewelry that I did look at. Very nice, but nothing that struck my eye that I had to have. That was a nice piece. There was some really nice stuff that I would have liked to have, but like I said, the price wasn't right for me. It was right for me if I was doing it for myself, but not for reselling. So a great place to go. They had a lot of jewelry. I had fun digging around in that batch of jewelry. There was a little, it looked like a rose quartz necklace. That was nice. Price wasn't right, but nice piece. And here's some more of the inside part. Well, they had some little dog statues and some pottery and ceramics. Lots of old kitchenware items. And it looks like some salt and pepper shakers. And all kinds of old things. They had it displayed so cute too with the old crates. Kind of all over the place, and old baskets and whatnot. Here's some glassware that they had. Very nice. Some old jars. Some pretty blue glassware there. And here's all kinds of different hardware that was available at the flea market. That was nice if you needed something for an old dresser or whatnot. More outdoor items. I have quite a bit of this kind of stuff around my house, but I really like it. I seem to be attracted to it. I always want to buy something from these people, but I don't really need any more around my house. It's pretty full. Oh, those towers are very cool. Love those. Very nice. That one was like $48, which I could not make a profit on any of those. Those would be just for myself. And here's another area with some more older stuff. It's nice to see the flea market is getting big varieties of things. It used to be more all newer. Now it's a little bit of everything. There's some old glassware. And some old cups. And that looks like a depression glass piece there. Very pretty. Kind of an open lace looking little dish. And there's some more glassware. And here's an overall of another booth. It takes us probably about maybe 2-3 hours for sure to go through everything. If you really looked at every item, it would take much longer. But we kind of scan to the things that we tend to gravitate towards, like these kinds of dealers. There's a lot of folks that make all this wood stuff. They put a lot of work into this stuff. And it's priced pretty reasonably, being they actually made those items. You have to appreciate their abilities to do that. Some of it they buy and resell, but a lot of these dealers with all these old items, they have made the shelving or the benches or whatnot. Look at all this beautiful glass. There's a piece of moon and stars in there, a couple pieces of moon and stars in there, and a nice variety. I looked through all that stuff, of course. And that's the name of their business. If you're looking for them. Really nice glassware, nice ceramic and porcelain items. A good variety. Look at all the lamps on the top. I had spent quite a bit of time in this booth because it was so neat. And don't forget to subscribe if you're watching this. We appreciate all you folks keeping with us in all these videos. And that looks like some rings and some jewelry there. Oh, that was a pretty piece. I think that was Mosier glass. Some people call it Moser, but it's a company that makes new glass, and they make it with the old patterns. And oh, it's just beautiful. It's very expensive to buy even wholesale. So that was $22 just for that, but that's about what you need to charge for it, because they pay quite a top dollar on the wholesale items. Those, I did buy it at one time and sell it, but it just got to be so expensive that I didn't think anybody was going to buy it from me. But I love it. It's very nice. And here's some more glassware and some owls, and there's some Fenton there, and a piece of lariat right there. That clear basket, I believe that's called lariat, and that's a depression glass piece. And then some purses and scarves. Oh, I love these chicken basket things. They're so cute. I don't know what I would do with it, but I just like them. I kind of want one for my house. I have no place to put it. I guess I need a bigger house. Here's some more outdoor items that you can use in the kitchen. And there's a bird feeder and all kinds of cast iron fry pans, and a big one there. And this lady had lots of books. So if you're looking for books, boy, they had a lot of them. And here's the side of the building that says Shipshewana on it. I thought that was kind of cool. It was painted by someone in the area. And here's the overall shot of some of the vendors. And like I said, you're not seeing a lot of people here, but we were there really early. We were right next door, so we were able to go in there as soon as they opened and see everything. They have several places to eat throughout the flea market that have pretty good food. So this was KM Fashions and Gifts. They had really nice rings and jewelry. I spent some time in there too. They had some really nice things. Their prices were very reasonable too. That was fun. Very nice. And there was lots of nice purses. I love all the sparkle of those purses. Rhinestones. That's right up my alley. I like that kind of stuff. And some other leather purses. And lots of wallets. all different kinds you could possibly imagine. And then they had those little trees there with the natural stones. Here's the auction barn, and they're setting up all these little areas where there's going to be individual auctions at. So it's not quite set up yet. This is always on Wednesday. Let's go see what kind of stuff they got. Not sure if I'm going to be able to go or not. There's bad weather coming, and my husband might want to leave a little early. This is cool. Let's look over here at the other one. And each of the areas has a little sign of when this auction is going to start. Oh, I really like that layer thing. I have bought in here before and done quite well, but you just don't know. Pretty neat things. Some silverware. It's been a few years since I've done it, so got a lot of nice things in this one here. Here's an area here, lots of crates, all kinds of goodies. Little trinkets. That's a nice set of dragonware. I really would like to get these things to hang on my end caps for clothing. I don't know what time this one starts, so. I haven't seen any bulk jewelry yet. It's kind of what I was looking for. All those old phones. So this is what we got on the way out. Nice old dress form. She gave it to me for $7. What a deal. It's got a little bit of issues, but it's great for display. Another thing that I bought from that same lady is this laundry cart for $15. That was a really good deal too. So this stuff is going to be used for display. So here's an aerial shot of the campground and the flea market and all the stuff in the area. Oh, there's even a horse-drawn carriage over there. And these are all the vendors in the flea market. It's pretty big. Now, antique-wise, we only got the dress form for $7 and the cart I got for $15. And if I sold those, that dress form alone, I'd probably put $50 on. But I am not wanting to sell it because I'm going to use it for display. So here's the Kodiak right here. So this is Lou from Lou's Antiques and Collectibles saying goodbye, and we'll see you again. Bye.